people have spoken clearly, and the vice president has conceded defeat to the former president. We truly live in interesting times.
The goal is to create a parallel economy where we can operate and not be under the thumb of diversity, equity, and inclusion.
I think that people who accomplish things and support individual liberty should be rewarded. And I think that the people that push mandates, I don't think they belong in America.
This is our time. This is not a time to rest. We've got to get in there and fight.
Wow, what an amazing opportunity to follow Seb Gorka and be here with you in Phoenix. I'm going to give you a 5-minute, in 5 minutes, I'm going to give you a 90-minute talk that explains the monetary system and what we ought to do to make money great again in America. 5 points. Number one, our debt path is unsustainable. You already know this, but the Fed knows it too. Fed Chairman Powell says we're on an unsustainable fiscal path. You know what? I wrote a book called Pirate Money. I wrote it a year and a half ago. We had $32 trillion in debt. We have $36 trillion now. $4 trillion added in the last year and a half. That's unsustainable. Number two, you know other nations, the BRICS nations, they want to destroy the American dollar. You know, can we blame them? Even Elon Musk says if we weaponize our currency enough times, other countries will stop using it. Number three, we have inflation, and inflation creates a wealth gap that hurts the poor and will lead to destabilization. Why do we have inflation? Money printing. Listen to the Fed chair.
Simply flooded the system with money.
Yes, we did.
So to lend to a bank, we simply use the computer to mark up the size of the account that they have with the Fed. So it's much more akin, although not exactly the same, but it's much more akin to printing money than it is to borrowing.
You've been printing money.
Well, effectively.
Where does it come from? Do you just print it?
We print it digitally. So we, as a central bank, we have the ability to create money digitally.
Flooding the system with money.
Yes, exactly.
And there's no end to your ability to do that.
There is no end to our ability to do that.
Are you comfortable with that? Do you want unlimited money printing? You know what it does? It creates inflation, and inflation helps the rich get richer because you can hedge against inflation, but it hurts the middle class, it hurts average Americans. You can look at this chart from the Federal Reserve. It's 100% correlation almost between money printing and the wealthiest 0.1% gaining ground. This is what's hurting America. This is Biden's America right there. Okay, do they understand what they're doing? The top economic advisor to President Joe Biden and Vice President Joe Biden is this guy, Jared Bernstein. He was asked recently in a documentary, what is it about money printing and why do we borrow money? Listen to what he says.
Some of this stuff gets, some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do? They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds and people buy the bonds and lend them the money. Yeah, so a lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, yeah, I guess I'm just, I can't really talk, I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about, like, because it's like the government clearly prints money, it does it all the time, and it clearly borrows, otherwise we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
No, nothing confusing there. All right, number four, you've heard of central bank digital currency, right? That is an attempt to control you, and the Bank for International Settlements admits it. Listen to August Karsten from BIS.
A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also, we will have the technology to enforce that.
That's what they intend. Number 5, we can make money great again. And here's how we do it. Article 1, Section 10, go back to the Constitution. The state can make nothing other than gold and silver coin legal tender in a state. We tested it in Texas. Prop 7 said, do you want this? 1.6 million Texans voted yes, 77% voted for it. In Florida, Jimmy Petronas, the chief financial officer, issued a study, and he said, guess what? We can make gold and silver legal tender in Florida also. That's what my team is doing. We have active propositions in 30 states. We have legislation being entered in 24 states. This is written in my book, Pirate Money, the founder's hidden plan for economic justice and defeating the Great Reset. Would you rather have a $20 gold coin or a $20 bill from 100 years ago? Which would you rather have? The gold holds its value. The technology exists to make gold and silver vaulted and transactional to where you could spend it with a debit card. Think of it as Venmo or a Cash App for your gold and silver. We have a lot of groups that have heard me speak and are in support of this. You can see some of them on the screen. And I'm going to be doing a book signing in the exhibition hall with the Patriot Mobile booth at 1:30. I'll be answering questions there and signing books. Free copy of Pirate Money. And we also have a booth in exhibition hall, the Pirate Money booth, if you don't get to the book signing at Patriot Mobile. Look, visit us on Media Row. We've done several shows from here. I've got a TV show, Economic War Room on Blaze TV. I've got a radio show, Pirate Money Radio on American Family Radio. You can see our social media up there. The book is Pirate Money. We're giving copies away. God bless you all, and thank you very much.